they go.
There they go.
There it is.
There's one.
There it is.
There's two.
Run to first.
Did he get?
Oh,
tagged
okay,
second.
okay.
He got it.
That's right, tagged him. How about that?
All right, just like you described, Whitey, and unassisted, right?
That's the risk of it. Unassisted triple play, and I think there was a guy by the name of Wam Gans or something like that who did that years ago.
Let's see that triple play again. Runner's taken off.
Yeah, runner's going. A bullet. Good play. I mean, that. 2 outs made there at second.
So Mickey gets him scrambling for the record books.
That was. I remember that like yesterday. So I had an opportunity to talk with our first guest, Mickey Morandini, at the golf outing. So I invited him on. Let's go to the Barb's Harley-Davidson Sports Hotline and welcome into the locker room former second baseman for the Philadelphia Phillies, Mickey Morandini. Good morning, Mick.
Morning. How you doing today?
Hey, Mick, how did you hit him the other day?
I think I was okay. It got better. It was a struggle early, and I think it got better. So, you flip a coin with golf with me. Some days I think I'm pretty good, and other days I feel like I've never played the game before.
Mickey, I always say often. When people say, how do you hit them, I always say often.
Well, you know what? I might have to start using that one, that's for sure.
That's right. You got your money's worth.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
So, Mick, leading up to Monday golf outing, when I saw you, obviously what was on everybody's mind at that time was the Joe Girardi, Gene Segura mix up a little bit. But I want to talk to you before we get into that. I want to talk about the players today compared to when you played. If a player did something with you guys had that macho row. Explain to our listeners, I don't think today's player, like Bryce Harper making all the money, I don't think he'll get up in somebody's face and say anything. It's different than it was when you played.
Yeah, I think it is. And yeah, we had a clubhouse that was controlled by the players. Darren Dalton took control. He knew how to handle situations. He didn't show anybody up. Took guys in the back room, sat them down, had a little conversation with them, and that was the end of it. Very rarely did our coaches have to intervene on issues of not playing the game the right way or not hustling or playing the game, doing the little things like that on the field. Darren Dalton took care of that. And yeah, you don't see that too often anymore. Now, if Gene Segura would have done what he did the other day by laying on the ground for about 30 seconds, I guarantee you Darren Dalton would have pulled him aside immediately in the dugout, and it would have been taken care of.
Yeah, I find that very. Why do you think players today are reluctant to take that leadership role like Dutch and a couple other players? I guess I don't know if Dykstra was a part of that or Hollins, but why are players today, you think, reluctant to, take that role?
I'm not sure. I don't know if winning is as important as it used to be. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know these players today. I don't go into the clubhouse anymore. Especially with COVID being around, we're not even allowed down there, and so I don't know a lot of the players on the team. I only know the ones that I coached in the minor leagues, and so I don't know the answer to that, to be honest with you, but. If you want to win that badly and you have someone dogging it on the field, something's got to be said or something's got to be done, and shouldn't always be on the manager. I would much rather have, be honest with you, I'd much rather have a player yell or a manager yell at me than a player.
Right.
When I play, I'd rather Larry Bowa could scream at me all he wanted to, and I knew when I messed up, and I knew it was coming, and I took it. And it made me better. But when a player does it to you, then you really screwed up, and you need to act. You need to right the ship, and you just don't see it too often anymore.
Former Phillies second baseman Mickey Morandini with us here in the locker room. 1990 to 97, a little cup of coffee get in 2000 just to put that uni on back one more time, right, Mick? And
yeah.
Listen, I was at the game on Friday night, and I saw Segura laying on the ground there, and I thought, oh my God! Well, first I thought he's hurt, right? Because I'm way up in like 208, and then eventually he gets up, and I thought, Oh, my God, he wasn't hurt. He was just
Right.
The Red Sox player hurdled him.
The only thing that was hurt was his pride and his feelings.
Right.
And then that pissed me off. Accountability sounds like what we're talking about, Mick. And also defensive play, and Billy's asking about that. You know, Alec Boehm has had some issues at third base. Segura's clearly had some issues at short.
Herrera doesn't back up on the play. I mean, he's standing in center field with his.
If you're Joe Girardi, I mean, really, at this point, the season is going, right? What can you really do to turn that around?
Well, it's hard to turn the defense around. I think we all knew coming in, and it probably wasn't going to be a great defensive team. I mean, you know, the corner guys, you know, they're average defensive players. We knew when we drafted Alec that there was going to be an offensive player. He was going to have some issues at third. You know, McCutcheon's, you know, past his peak. Herrera's never been a great center fielder. You know, so JT's probably the glue of the bunch there, and he's hurt right now. So we're going to have to find other ways to win. And when you're not hitting the baseball and you're not scoring runs and you're striking out a lot and not playing the good fundamental offensive baseball, you're going to lose some games. And we're in that stretch right now where we're losing games because we're not doing good fundamental things.
We're talking with Mickey Morandini, former Phillies second baseman. Mick, how about all the rash of injuries? I mean, you got some major stars. I mean, up to this date, the 48th day of the season, 351 players are out on the injured reserve list with some names like Christian Yelich, Cody Bellinger, Springer, Mike Trout, Seager, JT Realmuto, Didi Gregorius. I mean, the list goes on and on. What is going on?
You know, I wish I knew. You would think because of the shortened season last year, the guys would be more fresh. They'd be in better shape and be ready to go this year, but it seems to be the reverse. I don't know what all the injuries are about. It's perplexing to me. A lot of them are freaky things, but, you know, when you start pulling muscles and, you know, it's hamstrings and groins and things like that, you have to start kind of looking into the training process. And are we training these athletes, you know, properly? I know they work hard in the weight room and things like that, but maybe some of these guys are overdoing it and working too much. I mean, your body can only take so much. You know, you're playing 3 hours a day every day, and you're working out, you know, a couple hours in the weight room. Maybe it's too much. I don't know.
Hey, Mick, you know, baseball is not a hard physical game, but it is. I mean, when you play 162 games, tell our listeners how much of a grind that is on your body. I mean, yeah, you're playing every single night of the week, almost every night of the week.
It's a huge grind. It's a huge grind, and you got to throw in another 30 spring training games and 6 weeks of training and all the stuff you do in the off season. It is a grind coming to the ballpark because you usually at the ballpark from 1 to midnight, you know, so you're already at the ballpark for a long time, and then like I said, you're working out. You have your pregame where you're taking batting practice, taking ground balls, and you're doing this every day. I mean, you really only get a day or two off a month. So it is a grind, and by the time August hits, you are mentally and physically done, and you just got to grind and grind and grind.
Hey, Mickey, when did the strikeout become okay? I mean, you've been around baseball a long time, man, and at some point we've had a paradigm shift here where people aren't that bothered by striking out. Yes. And you know who leads the National League in strikeouts right now? What team?
I know the Phillies do.
Yeah. Unbelievable, right?
Yeah. You know, it became not that important when analytics started becoming important. That's what analytics says. Strikeouts are okay. You know, we don't want to put the ball in play and hit into a double play. I'm an old school guy, but not, you know, the strikeouts isn't necessarily old school stuff. I mean, nobody likes to strike out. You don't put any pressure on the defense. You make it easy for the pitcher. I don't understand it. I know when I struck out, I was embarrassed. I didn't want to walk back to the dugout because I knew those Philly fans were going to be saying stuff at me. And I did everything I could, especially with 2 strikes. And today's athletes just don't seem to care. They're swinging as hard as they do on a 1-0 fastball as they do on an 0-2 fastball. So It's just I don't understand it. I really don't.
Yeah, we like old school guys. Billy and I are old, and we like that perspective that you're offering. You know, I told you I was at the game Friday night, too. It's not just the Phillies, who by the way, struck out 13 times again last night and lead the National League in strikeouts, but the first-place Red Sox, you know, that game, Billy and Mickey, on Friday night, the Red Sox may have won 11-3, but that only covered up the fact that they had 11 or 13 strikeouts of their own. I mean, it was unbelievable that how many strikeouts there were combined in the game.
Right. Now, I will say this. The way the players are taught to swing today is very conducive to strikeouts. When you have an uppercut swing and you're trying to put the ball in the air, you have a very minimum space when your bat crosses that plate to hit that baseball, as opposed to a level swing where you can be a little early, you can be a little late, and still make really good contact. When you have an uppercut swing, you better be right on time with that pitch, and it's very hard to hit that ball the other way with an uppercut swing. So that's a big part of the reason why we see so many strikeouts.
All right, Mick, like Pete said, we are old school guys. I got to say, you know, obviously the 2008 team was a great team. The 1980 team, 83 team was a great team. But my favorite Phillies team, even though you guys didn't win the World Series, was your 1993 Phillies. That team just captivated our town, this whole area. You guys were fun to watch. You had that never die attitude.
Yeah.
You guys just had a cast of characters that I thought that just seemed like a fun team to be around, Mickey.
It was, and I think it's one of the most beloved teams in Phillies history because nothing was expected of us. Every major publication had us coming in last place. We stunk the year before. I mean, we came in last and had an awful record, and I tell a lot of people, nobody expected us to be good for a number of years because, honestly, we didn't have a lot of talent on the team. And then, you know, Lee Thomas goes out and signs the Danny Jacksons, the Milt Thompsons, the Eisenreichs, the Incavillas, those types of players. Really good, solid baseball players, none of them superstars, but we all gelled. We got off to that hot start. The fans started pouring in to the gates, and we were getting, 35, 40, 45,000 in May, and we just rode it out. And it was a team that knew how to play the game. We did the little things extremely well. And I think to win a championship, you have to have a number of guys have career years, and we had a number of guys have super career years that year.
Mickey, this is Pete Thompson. I was at WRTI Radio at Temple at the time. I probably covered 73, 74 of the 81 home games that year. I remember the progression of how initially the clubhouse was set up the way it was, and guys would come out and talk, and somewhere about 3/4 of the way through the season, that window to the trainer's room got painted black so that we couldn't see through it to see what was going on in there. You know, I have so many memories, Mick. I have, give me a gin and tonic. No, give me two from Lenny. Crucky, you'd stand in front of him and you go, Well, S. Oh, are we live? Crocky, you know that we're live. You just dropped that S-bomb into our microphone so we couldn't use it. The giant overchair, the lazy boy that Dutch had, deservedly so in his corner, and how Macho Rowe went. Well, I'd be remiss, Mickey. I mean, Billy's show here, but I'd be remiss if I didn't say, there he goes, former Phillies second baseman, Mickey Morandini.
That's pretty good. Pretty good. I like that.
HK was good. He's a good guy.
Yeah, it was a fun group. We had a blast in the clubhouse. But I'm telling you, when we got between those white lines, we were as focused as any team I was ever involved with. And like I said, we knew how to play the game. We pushed each other. We got on each other. We congratulated each other, and it was really a Darren Dalton clubhouse. I know we've said this 1,000 times, but what he brought to that clubhouse was amazing.
Well, Mickey, listen, man, I really appreciate you taking time Sunday morning to come on the show. We really enjoyed having you on and talk a little baseball, and we'll do it again.
All right, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, guys.
All right, there he is, Mickey Morandini on the Barb's Harley-Davidson Sports Hotline.